Fan projects are something I personally don't tend to get myself involved in because a majority of the time they either turn out to be total garbage or eventually cancelled, most likely because the programmers couldn't take the stress anymore. And I can definitely sympathize with those people. I've tried learning to program with GameMaker's language before, and even though that's arguably one of the easiest computer languages to learn, it's still rather daunting. And even when you do get the hang of it, creating a game can still take a really long time, especially with only one or two people behind it. Just look at all the indie developers you find on Steam and the fan remake of Sonic CD made by Christian Whitehead, who are now going on to make the next official 2D Sonic game called Sonic Mania. I may not play a lot of indie games myself, but I cannot imagine the tension and anxiety these guys must have when producing games like this, and today's game is no exception. A man by the name of Milton Gosti, or Dr. M64 as his alias, has as far back as 2006 been privately working on a fan remake for Metroid 2 Return to Samus, a Game Boy title released in 1991 that has not aged well over time and never got the zero mission treatment from Nintendo even to this day. I still don't know why they haven't remade it themselves yet, seeing how Metroid Zero Mission was a remake of the first game, and that was absolutely amazing. But as we've seen in recent years, Nintendo isn't exactly interested in the Metroid series anymore, and the last game that was respected by fans was Metroid Prime 3 that came out nearly 10 years ago. So that's pretty bad when we have to have the fans make games for them, only to try and take them down even when they're free to play. Yes, AM2R is indeed a free game, which I actually feel bad about because this is a really good fan remake and I want to give this guy money for doing such a fantastic job. It's no doubt the best Metroid game to arrive in years, and it's not even made by Nintendo. But I don't want to say where you can download it nowadays in case Nintendo want to take down every single copy, so I'll just say search for it on Google and you're bound to find one somewhere. Dr. M64 did all the work himself when the project first started, but over time he eventually put together a small team to assist him, such as talented sprite artists and a composer for the music. With nearly a decade of development time and a dedicated team to make this remake a reality, there was a lot of potential for this fan-made game. There were also various demos that Dr. M64 would release to show us how far he was into the project, and with each demo you would have to fight a brand new type of evolved Metroid at the very end. It was a great way to build hype and get us excited for the finished project. Well, after a 10-year waiting time, another Metroid 2 remake is finally completed, so let's see how it turned out. Plot-wise, it's exactly the same as the Game Boy title, just kill all the Metroids in SR388 and make them extinct. But it adds a little side plot where Galactic Federation troops have gone missing and Samus needs to search and rescue them. Well, technically that was in the manual for the original Metroid 2, but you never found any in the game, nor was it even mentioned. And taking note from the Prime series, the enemies and locations you visit are put into your new logbook to give you background information. I realize this isn't much in terms of adding flavor to the story, but it's nice to optionally read a little history of the planet and what's around it. Unlike the original Metroid 2, Samus controls note for note like she did in Zero Mission, including scaling up a wall, which is still great for finding secrets, as well as shooting in diagonal directions, and yes, believe it or not, this is actually new to the original game. And look at that, you can even do the moonwalk from Super Metroid, and I still have no use for it. There's a new feature as well where you can turn into the Morph Ball by pressing one button instead of tapping down twice. And you can also climb little ledges and automatically become a ball when crawling in small spaces. They're very tiny extras, but they make everything feel so much faster than the previous games, especially the original Metroid and Metroid 2. Obviously, the sprite work is eons better than it was on the Game Boy, and the color makes everything far more vibrant. The music's pretty catchy too. We've got remixes of old stuff as well as some new tracks that all sound great. Thank God for that, because the music in the Game Boy version for the most part just had a lot of beeps and boops. The level design is somewhat similar to the original game, but they're definitely made to be less dull and samey after a while. So there's now a massive amount of new and changed areas to explore, but the goal is still the same. Clear the amount of Metroids in the area until the lava lowers, allowing you to move on to the next area. There's even an entirely optional area you can explore with its own boss fight. How many fan games have that? You don't even have to worry about getting lost anymore because there's now a highly welcome map feature. And you can even make your own markers to point out where you want to go. You can toggle a new counter as well, letting you know how many Metroids you have left to kill in the area before the lava's passable. This was in the original game as well when you pause the game, and it's only a minor addition, but it's still nice to have and it's more obvious here. And of course it wouldn't be a Metroid remake without bringing power-ups from the later games. Super missiles, power bombs, the speed booster, and the gravity suit all make a welcome return, and the beams stack up again too. There aren't any new power-ups, which is a shame, but that's only a small nitpick I have, and I adore the sound power bombs make anyway, so that makes up for it. You're gonna need to get those power-ups though, because not only are the Metroids far more aggressive than on the Game Boy, and the weak points are ridiculously hard to hit, there are also exclusive bosses to fight, and they can be pretty damn tough. Like this Terizo statue that starts growing wings and zooms past you and now starts to feel like a space shooter boss. It's freaking insane for Metroid, but it is very cool. I also enjoyed seeing Samus again from Metroid Fusion, nice for him to make a comeback. But even the Alpha Metroids, the very first evolved Metroids you come across in the game, are ruthless since they dodge your missiles more frequently and love to beeline towards you at every chance they get. The Gamma Metroid's electrical attacks can be pretty deadly too, and God help you if they grab you, and the Zeta and Omega Metroids are gigantic. It can actually be a pretty scary game as well. No joke, I've jumped a good couple of times in some of these areas. Special mention to this Alpha Metroid appearing from the floor, and this Zeta Metroid coming out of nowhere after a long time without killing any Metroids. Since the evolved Metroids are far more deadly this time around, this makes AM2R one of the most difficult Metroid games to ever be made. I'm playing this on the normal setting too, so while the difficulty may be off-putting to newcomers, they can always pick easy mode for a smoother experience. The only thing that's different between them is the amount of damage you take and expansions not giving you as much extra health and ammo. Even then, I'm not keen on how the Metroids don't give you a lot of breathing room, which is one of the main reasons it's needlessly tricky to hit their weak points. And unfortunately, thanks to the game being taken down and Dr. M64 stating that there's no future for AM2R, we're most likely not going to see a patch or an update anytime soon. Keep in mind as well that I'm playing using a controller, so I can't even begin to think about how much harder this game is with a keyboard. That's all I can really say about AM2R. It's Metroid 2 with a zero mission style makeover. But man, is this an achievement from such a small group of people. And we get to play this for free. Something this well made really needs a big reward. All we can do is give it the love and attention it deserves, so please do a quick search and download a copy of this game. With any luck, Nintendo will reconsider and hire these guys to make the next best Metroid game, or at the very least make AM2R more accessible on other platforms. I would be more than happy to buy this on my Wii U and my 3DS and recommend to other gamers. I wish I could give Dr. M64 and the team more support, but alas, as of yet, it's exclusive to PCs and Macs. However, this is an incredible birthday present to celebrate Metroid's 30th anniversary. Let's hope there's more Metroid yet to come. Maybe for the Nintendo Switch? Possibly? So that ends yet another adventure for our beloved bounty hunter before Nintendo takes God knows how long to make an official game that's not a spin-off. But speaking of spin-offs, while we're not covering it in the next video, and whenever I can find a way to record 3DS footage, I will go over Metroid Prime Federation Force and give my thoughts on it because, oh Jesus, did it receive some flack. But next time it's Nathan Drake's turn to shine as we go over the Uncharted
Rise
series.
of the Tomb Raider!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Look, I just want to cover these games first before I go
Rise of the Tomb Raider!
Okay, I promise I'll talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider straight after.
Rise of the Tomb Raider!
Alright, fine. Next time we're looking at Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Freaking finally!